I want to do three different songs, and I want to give you sort of like my version of psychoanalysis for the lyrics, so I can just go like line by line or like word for word. If there is enough of a, I guess, of a vote and enough donations, I can definitely go through these line by line if that is what is wanted by the Discord community. I don't want the thing at the top. How to get rid of that? Scrolling down, it's never gonna go away. Okay, it's just gonna be there. Oh, wait. Oh, well. Yeah, it's just gonna be there. Okay, wait, which one's this one? Oh, it's golden. Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm gonna start with. All right, I had to try very, very, very hard to do not sing along because you did not really. Oh, they have too many cups here. I can't see. Okay, I'm gonna show you the lyrics now, and then I'll go over it. So, I do, like I said, I do have my notes, but I always welcome interaction. So, if you guys have any questions, you guys want to say something or point something out that might have missed, feel free to do so in the comments. Don't be shy. All right, cool, cool, cool. So, I was a ghost. I was alone. I don't know what the Korean words mean, but I think this is sort of like, again, this is the story of the girls, right? Like each one of them kind of says a little bit about themselves. And I just forgot their names. Oh my god, I am so sorry. Hold on. Ah! No. Whoa. What is this? It showed up like super big. What the heck? Oh, it changes all of them. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go back to it. Okay. So I'm just gonna write them down because I am gonna forget. So it's Rumi and what's the other one? Zoe. Why does it say Celine? Now I'm doubting everything I have ever known about this movie. What is going on with Google today? Here it is. Can't trust anything. It's Mira and Zoe. There you go. Da-da-da. Okay, okay. All right. So each of the girls is seeing their own sort of like, I guess, brief history, right, of how they came to come, or how they came to become, well, not really, not to become demon hunters, but how they came to sort of like uh grow, right, like where their story kind of started. So for Rumi, it was like she just felt like she didn't fit in, like she didn't really belong. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna make the lyrics larger again. And I think that's something that is, it's very common. We have all experienced in some way or another the sense of like not belonging because we're too different, we're too much. If you are someone who struggles with their mental health, someone who is neurodivergent, meaning ADHD, OCD, autism, and a bunch of other things, it's really easy for us to feel like we don't belong because this world wasn't necessarily created for us, right? Like there's so much that we need when we are struggling with our mental health or when we are neurodivergent. That not only mental health, like if you're also struggling with your physical health, there's so much stigma around that it really just makes us feel like a ghost, right? Like feel all alone, even if we have a lot of people and support for that. So again, it just kind of goes on to say that she was given all this power, right? But she didn't really know what to believe, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that adopted mom was not straightforward with her about a lot of things, so that complicated matters a lot. And then we have Zoe, who lived two lives, right? And she tried to sort of fit in both, never really did that. With this one, again, part of the reason why I chose this song in particular is because I feel very close to this, as I am the child of immigrants. So my parents are from Mexico, so whenever I go visit family in Mexico, I feel like I don't really belong there, because I my Spanish is not as great. I don't have the same interests, the same likes as my cousins over there. And when I'm here, same thing. I feel like I can't really belong because I have an accent when I speak. I have different experiences, a lot more. I wouldn't say a lot more, but different types of hardships, right? And sometimes other people might not really understand that. um so it's I mean, this is something too that I experienced, just given the fact that what my hobbies are, right? I was just too nerdy, too geeky. When I came to find sort of like my community in geek culture, then it got a little bit better. So sometimes when people ask me, like, well, what my ethnicity is or what my culture is, I feel just more at home in the geek community, because that's where I found myself, right? I couldn't really fit in my other two sort of like worlds, I guess. So I essentially joined a third one, or created a third one for myself. And well, I essentially did create a third one, because then I ended up creating Psychology for Geeks. So yeah, I was like, I can't really fit in anywhere, and I there's a lot of things that I would like to do. So yeah, I'm just gonna create somewhere where I feel safe, where I feel accepted. And I can meet other people who geek out about what I geek out as well. Problem child. So then now we have Mira, who is talking about being the problem child. Now here's where um, a little bit of that kind of psychoeducation, psychoanalysis comes in. Again, in the movie, we are, unless I missed it, but please correct me if I'm wrong. We are not really given like a reason why she didn't fit in her family. All we know is that she didn't. So we can sort of assume that she just kind of outgrew the box that she was placed in. She was probably, like most of us, given expectations, whether it be from the society or from family members, from parents, about things that they wanted her to study, perhaps, or how they wanted her to behave and believe and think and all that stuff. And she just outgrew that. She just couldn't fit in because she was a lot more than that. There is two things that I wanted to talk about for this one as examples. Is I know uh, I guess an influencer who moved from Korea to Mexico, and a lot of their content is centered around comparing the two, right? Like how her life was in Korea and compared to like in Mexico. And of course there's different cultures, and there's different emphasis, different values on different things. So she just feels a lot more free to be herself, to be silly and happy in Mexico than she did in Korea, where she felt a lot more of those expectations. Right, so it can be the same for us, not only just like moving to like a completely different country, but just maybe moving to a different city, or moving to a different location, or having a different types of friends can sort of like open up that world where we are kind of asked to fit into like this narrow little box where we don't feel comfortable, because we know we can do so much. And I think something that I often struggle with, and makes me really sad, is because I see this quite often. So I tend to work a lot with neurodivergent individuals in my, I guess, my real job, my real paying job. And I see a lot of that, where their whole life they were just told that they needed to fit into this box because this is what they were told they needed to do. This is what everybody is doing. But they're neurodivergent. Their brain doesn't work that way. There is no way they can fit in into there. So so they force themselves, or they form themselves, and then by the time they make it to therapy, they sort of like have exhausted every sort of option that they could think of. and now they're like really struggling. Uh, and then I have also the people that eventually, because I work with them, I have the opportunity to work with them for a long time, and once I see them like start breaking out of the box and start doing like who was the things, being who they were meant to be, then it's just there's so much happiness, so much more freedom. There's a lot more creativity to that when they're not trying to pretend to be someone they're not, right? um so yeah, we, in one way or another, we are kind of forced to fit into this little box. Is this a cube? It looks like a cube. uh, I'm gonna go circle. Into this circle that it doesn't really, it's not for everyone, right? Other people might feel safe and comfortable, and that's where they belong, and that's fantastic. But not everybody should be forced to stay within, those circles. And sometimes we kind of have to because of fear. Now in the U.S., there's a lot of going on politically, and it really is forcing people to go back into hiding, into masking who they want to be or what they want to do because of fear. Let's see. Okay. So I just love that Mira, she said like, yeah, anyway, my parents didn't really like me, or they kicked me out of the family because I was a problem child and I was too wild. But now that's how I'm getting paid. And exactly, like I was talking about neurodivergent individuals, and a lot of the times we really do struggle with working 9 to 5 because that is so boring, and it again not how our brain works, and sometimes it kind of sucks the creativity out of us. But once you find the place where you belong, then that thing that you were told to hide and put away, it's kind of like the thing that allows you to be getting paid, which I'm hoping I'll get there soon once a no profit starts doing well. um See, okay, so I did say hiding, right? Like there's a lot of people that feel like we have to hide. uh Okay, so I'm gonna be like, great, this is great, right? This is exactly where we want to go. Uh, not hiding, shining like you're born to be, dreaming hard. Like you've made it so far, right? And now you're like up to believe, and it's sort of like now the song is building the momentum of like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. We're to, you know, here's the thing, right? Together, that is something that I think is very important for us to stop at and appreciate, because we can't do it alone. We are social creatures, and we need to have a community, right? We need to have a community that is there for us, that is supportive, that allows us to be who we are, and they're not afraid, or they're not trying to push us aside or forcing us to fit in into a specific mold, right? So one of the things I often talk about is that I love win-win situations, right? You help me, I help you, kind of thing. That's sort of like how we are able to get farther uh, than than if we were to be doing it on our own. However, oftentimes we have been beaten down so much that it makes it really hard for us to move past that, right? Like we're afraid to come out of hiding, or we're afraid to connect with another person because there's so many times where I have been betrayed, or I have felt abandoned by other people because of who I was, or whatever it might have been. But yes, we definitely need to do that together, and I am totally going to use this opportunity to drop in the Psychology for Geeks Discord community, because that's the whole point uh of it, right? To have people who are just like us, who are struggling just like us, that might be able to give us some ideas on how we can overcome the things that we're struggling, or how, just give us that support that we need. So yep, we're gonna go. We're gonna be awesome. We're gonna be golden. Mm. Oh, here's the other thing, right? Okay, so at this point in the movie, when this song gets released, okay, this is Rumi's idea of what her future is like, right? This is her time. There will be no fear, there will be no lies, and she's just going to be herself. But also at the beginning of the song, she kind of does say, or is it later on? I think it's just a little bit farther down when she says, what the? I'm a liar. She doesn't say it. Oh, here it is. And finally live like the girl they all see, right? So she's planning all of these things. She's doing all of these things for other people. Kind of also for her, but she's not the primary person that she's uh I guess doing it for. She's doing it to be able to fit in, right? To be able to be with the girls, because the girls think that like she's great as a human, not as a half human, half demon. So she's wanting to do all of these things to be able to fit in that image that other people have of her, right? So this is, she's still masking, she's still hiding. It's not true, um I guess self-acceptance, I would say, right? Because it's she's not really accepting herself for her. She's not really doing it for herself. She's doing it for other people, and because she wants to fit in with other people, right? She still doesn't really see how she herself, as half demon, half human, is valuable, or can be valuable. Let me see if I have anything else. Okay, so one of the things that I always wanted to do, because I have been to a few other um, geeky mental health panels, and they're usually great, full of packed full of information, but sometimes they don't really give us specific ways that we can sort of like use all that knowledge, right? Or like all those comparisons from the movie or whatever, for us to overcome. So I am going to do that now, right? So the one thing that we can take from this movie, I will say, is the wait, that one back to the beginning. Okay, so this is what we want, right? We want to be done hiding, we want to start shining, we want to be able to achieve and do the things that we were meant to be, like the things that we have been dreaming really hard and working really hard towards, right? And uh but like I said, sometimes we get to the point where we get burnt out, because either we're not doing it for the complete reasons, or there's a little tweak that we need to do when it comes to the way that we're going about doing things, right? Maybe it's just a matter of reframing the way that we think about it. And for in this song, for Rumi, it's just her changing her mind. She needs to accept herself for who she is, instead of trying to get rid of part of who she is, right? And most of the times it's just easier for us to think that it would be better for us to get rid of that part that we don't really like, so we don't have to worry about it, right? But it doesn't really happen that way. So in order for us to be able to achieve this, the the first few steps to take would be working on our self-acceptance, right? Understanding that yes, I have a mental health condition or a physical condition that does not allow me or prevents me from doing X, Y, and Z, and that is very uncomfortable, and I'm gonna be battling with this for the rest of my life. Sometimes I get a lot of people coming in and talking about how, hey, I'm taking medication for whatever their struggle is, and it's just not working. And then I have to explain, well, medication is supposed to help, but it's not supposed to get rid of it. It's never going to be able to get rid of it. It's just supposed to help you enough where you can sort of like live your day to day, but it's not going to like give you any sort of like superpowers or anything like that. That's actually something that my own psychiatrist said, because I went in for a while there. I believed that I was only struggling with anxiety. Then later it was I started sort of like recognize it the ADHD more, and then I realized that the root of my anxiety was actually ADHD. So I was okay. I want to be able to treat the root, right, not just the symptoms. So when I went to talk to my psychiatrist about it, they were like, yeah, but this isn't gonna make you be like remember all of the things or like be super intelligent, right? Like you're not looking for that. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like I know it's not gonna like completely change who I am, right? It's just gonna allow me to do the basic things. And for me, it's more like giving me enough focus to get through the day, or like I don't have to uh I don't even know how to explain it. But because when I take the medications, it's just it doesn't I don't feel anything, but then I stop taking them, and then I'm like, "Oh, yeah, all of a sudden everything seems a lot harder, like things become a lot more overwhelming." And just taking the trash from, like, let's say I eat a candy here and like I put the wrapper to the side, and then I my instinctive ADHD brain is like, "Oh, I'll just leave it there and clean it up later." I never clean it up later. But with ADHD meds, I'm like, oh yeah, I can just like grab it and then go. Like I don't know, it's just like little things like that it's helpful with. So it doesn't like give superpowers. It changes completely, but it can be helpful, right? So self acceptance is something to work on, and it looks different for everybody. So even if I could sit here and say, okay, so here's step 1, 2, and 3 on how you can reach self acceptance, it's gonna look different for everyone. So I'm not. So you kind of have to do a bit of trial and error, find a therapist, or Google stuff online or whatever works for you. The other thing I think here to consider is, why are we hiding, right? Like the hiding a lot of the times, well, especially in this movie, was because of fear of not being able to be accepted by other people. And so I thought that might be the case in real life. um we might not necessarily be accepted um because of the way that our brain works, or because we are kind of quirky, or kind of a little too weird, a little too much for people. There is a community out there who will accept you, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to, the acceptance in the community doesn't have to come from the community that you have now. You can go move on and find a different community that is supportive of who you are, and the things that you're wanting to do. um and for fear, it's a little bit of you just kind of have to do it. You just kind of have to do it. You can take baby steps towards getting rid of the fear, because once you realize that, hey, actually going outside, when it's really hot, it's something manageable, something that I can manage, then great. Like you'll be able to do it easier next time, right? But if we sort of like stay at home thinking like, it's too hot outside, the sun is gonna burn, I'm gonna get cancer, I'm gonna do all these things, and then we get more afraid and more afraid, and then we just kind of like isolate more and more. So the opposite of that would be to do it even though we are afraid, right? You can have someone go with you. You can resort to medication. Is there something that you're comfortable with? You can seek professional help. You can do it step by step. Again, you can find a community that's supportive, that can give you some ideas on how you can try these things out. But I think it's essential for us to understand that sometimes we just have to do it even though we are afraid. Okay. Wow, it has been uh, almost an hour since I started the stream. So I kind of have another stream that I'm going to be doing, another collaboration that I'm doing later. So I want to make sure I get through the other two songs. So I'm going to stop there for this one. If you guys have any like comments or anything like that, feel free, or, want to input something, say something, uh, you can put in the comments.